Here we are at the Cher Show, Moonlight Amphitheater. So you were here 3 years ago. You came and you visited us with your band, Foreigner's Journey.
Yeah.
We had a nice chat at that point, and now here you are in a musical with us 3 years later. What drew you to perform at the Moonlight and the Cher Show? How did this come about?
Well, that was really one of the better nights I've ever had with the band. I remember it distinctly well. It was just a beautiful, San Diego summery night, packed house, people pressed up against the stage. The band was on fire. There was just such a vibe, such an energy. And even though I was born in Brooklyn, New York, I grew up in New Jersey, I'm like an 80s, 90s kid. And we just always grew up with that. We were fascinated with Southern California culture. I love it when I'm out here, and the vibe, the people, it's just a different thing. The West Coast is it's just a different vibe, right? So loved that night. We chatted. The crew was great. I was just like, I got to work here, whether I direct something or we do, master class or maybe something with the gala or a musical. And here we are. This worked out great. I've been on the road for the last few months with my other new show that's, hopefully heading to the West End. And it worked out where, boom, I'm here. Little princess track for me.
Yeah. Before landing American Idol in 2005, you toured in Rent. Is it true that you were just hoping to land a gig in your Idol audition and that audition really put you in the orbit? And what was that experience like?
Oh, it was insane. Do you remember how crazy Rent was back in the day, though?
Yes.
Rent was like as big
Cult
as
following.
95, 96, all of that. They had the open calls. The original cast was on the cover of every magazine. This is before internet and social media, obviously, but it couldn't have been bigger. The mystique, the aura. Like I had the record, which I believe is a double record, is 2 CDs. Before I had ever seen it or even really knew the imagery, just knew the posters. And, I was like a high schooler going to play gigs in the city, East Village, and, they just were recreating that thing. So anyway, my point is, Rent was big, and I went on an open call or two for Rent, but you'll come to find out most of those were for publicity, right? They're not really finding people in those. So fast forward, I finish at the Boston Conservatory. I go off to Williamstown. I have an apprenticeship there. I meet Michael Greif, the director of Rent. I end up getting cast in Rent for like this international Broadway tour. We did all the states. We did Canada. We did Japan. I was like, I'm going to go to Broadway with this eventually. And then, basically they were like, we're not bringing you back. We're bringing in a whole new cast because it was like a young show. So every 2 years, they bring in a new cast because that's how it is. I wasn't Constantine. I wasn't nobody yet. I had a band. I was a hustler. And I just kind of went home, regrouped with the band, and then was like, I need a gig. My friend's like, let's go audition for this show. And I was used to that kind of thing. Open calls for Rent or, being a conservatory kid. And they found me, and, it definitely changed my life. But it was all about like, okay, what am I going to do with this opportunity, and how is it going to propel me for the next 20 years? And here we are, now 20 years plus. So now it's about the next 20, right? Yeah. So I think you just have to take an opportunity, not think about trying to be famous because we're a little consumed with that, but like hopefully get to do cool stuff and build a body of work,
You came up, rock and roll was your thing, right? On Idol, you were the rock guy. Then you went and you did Rock of Ages. And Rock of Ages is a show that really celebrates an era and time of music. This is the first time, to my understanding, that you are portraying kind of a rock icon, right? It's very specifically. How have you approached that? How is that different from you than, just kind of, you were an example of a genre, and now you are an example of a person, a real living, breathing person with a legacy. How did you approach that?
Great question. I just spent the last few months working on a show called Rock and Roll Man. It's about Alan Freed, who was like the first Ryan Seacrest, right? And long before Dick Clark, he broke the color lines and played black music on the radio, popularized the term rock and roll during the 50s, during segregation, right? So he was this real dude but we don't really know a lot about, because he was sort of gone and forgotten and sort of buried in history. But without Alan Freed, there is no rock and roll in a way. So getting to do that over the last few years, because I ran it off Broadway and then we took it to the UK more recently, to play a real person, yeah, it's an interesting journey for sure. No pun intended, but it's you want to take enough of what is out there about their lives, but you also need to play the scene. It's also a show. We have to do what we have to do, So I think there's some artistic license there to take, and I think with this show, we need Greg to be this sort of loosey-goosey representative of the era of like a little free kind of rock and roll, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, 60s, more 70s at this point. I think we need that guy. I'm sure he was all of those things as well, but we're sort of just we're doing a gloss of the life. There's only so much specificity you can apply. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's cool that I got the two great iconic songs. I think the scenes coming out of them, they play really well into this personality. We've already found some stuff in the room. Everyone seems to like it. I think he's got to be affable, and likable, and just kind of laid back and funny. But then when it comes, he's like, no, I can do this. I could be a father. Let me see my son. Then we feel that kind of dynamic snap between the two of them, and because they were like a hot, power couple, no doubt. I mean, there's pictures of them that are crazy. I really want to recreate some of them where like Cher is like over him and her hair is down. Oh, like, yeah, there's some fun. Photo. We got to recreate that. Absolutely. Yeah. So just gonna just take my shot. It's gonna be my Greg. I've never seen this show before. I don't know who did it before. No offense to anyone. And we're just gonna do Connie's version.
All of your Broadway experiences, Rock of Ages, Jekyll and Hyde, The Wedding Singer, which one challenged you most as an artist?
I think it was Wedding Singer in a way originally, because it was just like my first. I think there was this stigma of like, oh, he's just famous, that's why they're putting him in the show. I was really well known at the time, and it was such a good show, but it just wasn't landing like with audiences. They had some Tony nominations. It's really good, and look how well it's aged, The Wedding Singer. It gets done everywhere. We were just talking about it. I think this is going to be a Wedding Singer type of show, where it didn't necessarily find its audience on Broadway, but there's so much good stuff, and each new company can bring a whole new energy to it. And Nikki, of course, completely reinventing the staging for herself, whatnot. Wedding Singer kind of was one of those shows. So I came into the show, it's almost like I had to prove myself. It's like I went to Boston Conservative. I went to Williamstown. Like, that's all long before American Idol. I was in Rent, but you're always kind of having to prove yourself.
I know your American Idol run, right, probably really got your name out there and
sure,
it launched you into these roles on Broadway. But then you walked into these rooms with these Broadway performers, right? Do you feel like you had to fight against a stigma of somebody who was on a TV show?
Yes.
And really earn your space in that room?
For sure, yeah. But that's the name of the game. It's like when you play sports, it's the same way. It's just like, oh, this kid, huh? Oh yeah, all right. Let's see what he's got. So and that's it. You just jump in, and then when you kill it, then you earn your stripes.
Does that help you? Did that help you? Did you feed off of that?
Yeah.
Of like, I have something to prove?
Oh yeah, I love that. I love being the underdog, and I love when people underestimate me, for sure. My old manager used to say, it's a great thing that you're Constantine from American Idol. It's also a shitty thing that you're Constantine from American Idol. You made a very strong impression, one way or the other. And so sometimes it's hard for people to like kind of separate that. So I want them to know, it's like, yeah, I'm a Best Actor Tony nominee, not just for singing high notes, this, that, and the other. So I can do I could do other stuff too, not just rock and roll. But it's good that you are known for that too, because you work. But you know, we always want to like challenge ourselves with something that's like against the grain, something not obvious. Yeah. So yeah, I'm blessed, but let's keep it going. Yeah.
What's something about you that audiences might not expect?
Oh, you mean me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a huge sports fan, you know, for kind of a, I don't know, hippie rocker type of guy. Love sports, love baseball. I mean, I obviously love football too, but it's baseball season. And, you know, you love your Padres in this town. You got the
sure
Dodgers,
do.
you know, but I'm from New York, so I'm a big Yankees fan. But it's just like baseball is my best friend. It's on like every day. You know, you don't have to sit there and lock in on every inning. It's just this, you know, 10-month chess match that I love. So big sports fan. I'm a cool dad. I just made my debut in the UK as a performer. That was always a dream of mine to perform in England. And there's something about audiences over there. You know, it's like where the classical like text and Shakespeare, of course, is from. So there's this elevated thing that happens over there. So I successfully made my debut over there. And let's see one other thing. I don't know. Oh, I haven't. I don't drink. I don't drink, and you know, I wanted to make a change, you know, and thank God that summer before the pandemic, now, yeah, 7 years ago, um, I realized that I needed to like make a change in my life. I was never a big drinker, but I found myself drinking a little bit, you know, hanging out a little bit too much, and just quit cold turkey and everything. And it was the best decision I've ever made. Yeah. And then 6 months later, COVID came, and everyone was drinking and smoking and hanging and eating and whatever. And thank God I didn't have at least that vice, you know. So I'm proud that, yeah, I'm nearly 7 years clean from alcohol. So that's kind of a fun thing.
So you talked about being a dad.
Yeah.
Was there a point in your daughter's life that she realized that her dad was Constantine? And what was that like? As well as, does she come and she watch you perform? Has she seen your work?
Sure. She's definitely seen me perform, come and seen the bands, seen some shows. You know, those teenagers, it's like a tricky age, you know, to get them to come and do anything or to sit down and watch an old movie, you know, without them being on the phone or wanting to run off and do something or take a nap or go to Starbucks. But yeah, she gets to see me work. I think at some point it just became, that's just like what daddy does. That's just like his job. And, you know, probably early on. I mean, she really is a Broadway baby. I met her mom in the original company of Rock of Ages. We got pregnant in the middle of the run of Rock of Ages. I was going on tour. The kid was introduced to the world on American Idol when I came back as a musical guest, and they showed her picture for the first time, me holding her and everything. So she was in People magazine when she was, you know, a few months, or, you know, when she was a newborn, basically. So in a way, it's always been a part of her life, you know. But yeah, I think if anything, you know, I hope that she sees me more as like not some famous rock star type guy, but someone that is always trying to improve, always working, um, you know, always hustling, you know, just creating opportunity and thinking about the long term and the long, you know, sort of story of it all. I get to do some cool, you know, stuff, but you know, being a father to her, and she just got, you know, her third marking period grades, straight A's, all honor classes. You know, that's the stuff I'm into. I love watching her play soccer. That's like my favorite role. I've been away a lot lately, so I miss seeing her play and, you know, making her breakfast and all of that stuff. But this is part of what I do, you know, so she can have the life that she has now, which is pretty damn good. Damn, she's expensive.
Finish the sentence.
All right.
Okay. performing live is?
Oh, it's life, it's love, it's everything.
My journey has been.
My journey has been singing a lot of Journey songs over the last 20 years, but also um, to be continued. It's not finished yet. Yeah.
If there's one thing our audiences should know about the Cher Show, it is.
Oh, it's going to be a rock and roll disco, Fantasia, just orgasm of musical theater greatness and staging and songs, but great moments. I think people can come and party, but also be able to like lock in to this icon's journey. What a life she's lived and is still living. And I have some close friends that are very close to her. I know that's like such a weird flex, but it's very true. Like they're very close to her in her very small, like Malibu circle there. And, just what an interesting woman for sure. Um, yeah, I think that I'm so happy to see like women, shining on this kind of show. They're the leads. The girls are amazing. Obviously, Morgan's done this before, but Sam and Logan are amazing. The whole cast, I'm just kind of blown away by, to be honest. So, yeah,
This ensemble is just working double time, don't you think?
it's demented, no doubt. I was just like, okay, yeah. And so we're in good hands. Come have a great time. I mean, theater under the stars, there's not much better, you know. And we'll throw in a little southern rock concert in the middle of the show for a bit too.
I, for me, I think I have this perception of Cher and the icon and the legend that she is. But when we were going to do the show here and we needed to cast it, I went and I read the piece and I learned things about her that I didn't know. Also, I felt like I don't have to know that much about Cher or her music to love this show and have a really good time. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, this is a show that can entertain pretty much 5 to 95, and beyond. There's something for everybody for sure. Um, it's a bold choice the way they put this show together with the three actors representing the decades and the eras. And I think in this Taylor Swift sort of eras tour, pop culture Twitterverse we are living in, people can relate to this kind of thing. Oh, that's her, the same guy. I think it's going to make more sense than ever, this type of show. And you know, there's a lot of chaos out there right now. I think why not come and just enjoy the magic of musical theater, um, girl power, um, amazing tunes, great dancing, D-list celebrity thrown in the middle of it,
D-list.
rocking out a little bit. No, I think honestly, it's going to be a great experience for audiences because the Cher Show, it's like you're not sure what to expect. It's part TV show, it's part concert, it's part play, movie. It's got a little of everything. It's a wild modern piece about, a semi modern icon. Yeah.